Tonight, Ayotunde Balogun.
Hello and welcome. Tonight, President Tinubu reassures Nigerians of brighter days as he launches book on progressive governance in Imo. Day 2 of the Pengasyn nationwide strike. NNPCL, NUPRC and NMDPRA offices reopened, but motorists already feeling the impact. Malala Fund reiterates a commitment to advancing girl-child education. And US President Donald Trump hails Gaza peace plan as amazing, gives Hamas 3 to 4 days to respond.
And on business, Nigeria's payment revenues projected to reach $4.7 billion by 2029.
On sports news tonight, top boxers gear up for historic night in Lagos as chaos in the ring debut Wednesday to mark Nigeria's independence anniversary.
And from Abuja, Federal High Court in Abuja adjourns Showare's arraignment on alleged cybercrime to October 27.
The standoff between the Petroleum and Natural Gas Senior Staff Association of Nigeria, Pengasyn, and the Dangote refinery is beginning to affect petrol supply in the nation's capital. Now, a number of filling stations visited by our crew were found shut, citing lack of supply. Meanwhile, civil society groups remain divided over the ongoing dispute between Pengasyn and the Dangote refinery.
24 hours after the headquarters of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited was occupied by officials of Pengasyn, normalcy has returned to the complex. Worried by the threat of a strike action, members of the coalition of civil society organizations marched to the National Assembly to register their protest against the actions of Pengasyn. The coalition condemns the action of Pengasyn and Dapman.
The action and threats by the Depot and Petroleum Product Marketers Association of Nigeria and DIPMAN, alongside the ill-timed strike threats by Pengasyn, TUC and NUPENG, represent nothing short of direct assault on Nigerian people, our economy and our future. This is a direct call by Pengasyn, NUPENG and TUC for anarchy. DIPMAN opposition to Dangote refinery emergence as a major force in local refining is not about policy, not about patriotism. It is about preserving their stronghold over Nigeria.
Freedom come, I struggle, freedom come.
Away from the protest march, Save the Republic Group, an Abuja-based civil society organization, believes the sacking of Nigerian workers by the Dangote refinery raises serious questions about labor rights, fair employment practices, and Nigeria's regulatory environment.
The public has every right to demand full transparency on the refinery's recruitment practices, especially where allegations of mass sackings and replacement of Nigerian staff with foreign workers have been raised. This is the Federal Republic of Nigeria, not the Federal Republic of Dangote. Nigeria is not and must not be allowed to become a private fiefdom of any corporate actor.
Although the federal government is meeting with parties involved in the imbroglio, the impact of the planned industrial action by Pengasyn and Dapman is already being felt in the nation's capital, as some petrol stations have stopped dispensing.
Girl-child education took center stage in Abuja as the Malala Fund reaffirmed its commitment to expanding access and strengthening girls' rights to complete 12 years of quality education in Nigeria. While speaking at an event tagged Partners in Change, Shaping the Future of Girls' Education Together, Nobel laureate Malala Yousafzai emphasized that the fund will continue to advocate for increased government and institutional investment in education the protection of girls' rights, and the safeguarding of learning, especially in times of crisis.
It's an evening of engagement and networking as the founder of Malala Fund and her Nigerian board members continue their advocacy on girl-child education. The evening begins with the founder of the fund addressing the need to ensure quality education for every girl child.
We know that Nigeria has the highest out-of-school children, and girls here have the same dream and determination as girls everywhere else to be able to learn and have a future for themselves. And I'm here as their sister to ensure that we make that dream come true for girls in Nigeria too. I have met many girls here on my many trips to this country who are resilient, who are determined. They know more than anyone else that education is the best solution, education is the best investment in their future.
Some of the biggest barriers militating against the education of the girl child are brought to the front burner.
Still, to this day, our problems are not being solved by us. And it's why I, as a Nigerian, am proud to lead an organization that invests exclusively in local activists, local experts, who work to inform policy as well as community, and who do so with the voice and the power of the girl in mind.
Creating a next generation where girls do not need to fight for their rights to education dominates discussions at the event.
Education, I believe, is not just about classrooms. It is about unlocking power, restoring dignity, and offering choice. And right now, in this moment, millions of girls in Nigeria and around the world, for that matter, are still denied that right. We cannot afford delay. We cannot afford silence. The urgency that we all speak of is now.
In April 2025, Malala Fund launched its new 5-year global strategy 2025 to 2030, which identifies Nigeria as a priority country, recognizing both the urgent challenges and the opportunities to advance girls' education. Through her Education Champion Network, the fund invests in local leaders who are driving policy reform and community action to ensure more girls in Nigeria can access and complete their education.
Owerri, the Imo State capital, was aglow today as residents warmly received President Bola Tinubu on a one-day working visit. During the visit, the president commissioned several landmark projects executed by the Hope Uzodinma administration and also unveiled a book titled A Decade of Impactful Progressive Governance, authored by the host governor. Addressing the gathering, President Bola Tinubu assured Nigerians of brighter days ahead and emphasized the importance of safeguarding the nation's unity. Our correspondent, Itokwe Kuti, reports.
The presidential aircraft landed at the Sam Mbakwe International Cargo Airport at about 11:52 a.m. on Tuesday, and the president was received by the governor of Imo State, Hope Uzodinma, and other dignitaries. After inspecting the guard of honor, the president moves to commission the 60 kilometers dualized Owerri-Mbise-Umahi Road, the Assumpta Junction flyover, as well as the newly built Emmanuel Iwayan International Conference Center, all executed by the Imo State government. From here, he moves to the second part of his visit, which is the unveiling of a book titled A Decade of Impactful Progressive Governance, authored by Governor Hope Uzodinma. The event attracts dignitaries from across the country and beyond. They include National Assembly members, traditional rulers, politicians, governors, members of the Federal Executive Council, and a cross-section of Imo people. In his opening remarks, the chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Professor Nentawa Yiwada, lauds the governor for documenting the achievements of the APC.
This occasion is not just merely an unveiling of a book, but a presentation of a national testament, a chronicle of courage, of challenges, and a conviction of the progressive, It is a mirror reflecting where we have come from and a compass pointing to where we need to go to as a country and the party also.
The book reviewer, Professor Chima Onwaguma of the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, sheds light on what the book represents.
This is a book about governance and politics. And so who should read this? My sincere response would be everyone who has an interest in governance and politics in Nigeria, and this might just be everyone. If I'm given the latitude to share one of my favorite sections of the book, it will be found in the last paragraph of the conclusion, where the author made bold to give credit to the opposition. I quote, "I thank the opposition for keeping us on our toes and for challenging us to be a better political party. We know we have not solved all the problems of this country, and this was never our promise. But as progressives, have we set Nigeria on a path of renewed hope? The answer is yes."
There were good messages by the Obi of Onitsha, His Royal Majesty Nnemeka Achebe, and the Senate President Godswill Akpabio.
Let me say, the road up to now has been difficult, but the road ahead is probably going to be more difficult. But then the book gives us a roadmap, and we hope that the book is made available as widely as possible. Because, as you said, Dr. Hope Uzodinma, that a lot of things are happening which people don't know. And by documenting that, we've done a great service to the people of Nigeria.
Mine is to thank the governor of Imo State for deciding to put history in writing. 10 years of impactful leadership of the APC administration in Nigeria. If you don't tell your story, others will tell the stories for you.
For the governor, the book is a product of months of reflection, careful research, and honest writing.
I hope this book reminds us that APC is not just a party to win elections. APC is built on values, equity, inclusion, service, and discipline. These values must always shape how we govern. Of course, no governing party is without its critics. Reforms are very hard, sometimes or most times very painful, sometimes also misunderstood, but they are very, very necessary, globally speaking. And it is the only path to long-term prosperity. The truth is, some interests who benefited from the old order, the broken systems, are bound to resist change.
On his part, President Bola Tinubu urges Nigeria to remain steadfast as the nation is about to enjoy a new lease of life.
Today we gather not only to launch a book, but to reflect on a decade of collective effort and sacrifice. We promise the change. Today I can confidently tell you that the worst is over.
With political leaders, traditional and religious leaders, youths, men and women from all parts of the country rallying together under one roof, the president's visit to Imo State is not only about the inauguration of projects and book unveiling, but also to reinforce a shared vision of a stronger and united Nigeria. Ejitope Kutei, Channels Television News.
In part two, after the break, Lagos police arraign NURTW chieftain Shamelon for alleged murder of dispatch rider. Please stay with us. Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the News at 10 live on Channels Television Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. President Bola Tinubu reassures Nigerians of brighter days as he launches book on progressive governance in Imo. Day 2 of Pengasyn nationwide strike, NNPCL, NUPRC and NMDPRA offices reopen, but motorists already feeling the impact. Malala Fund founder reiterates commitment to advancing girl-child education. And US President Donald Trump hails Gaza peace plan as amazing, gives Hamas 3 to 4 days to respond. To the courts now. A Lagos magistrate court has ordered the remand of a National Union of Road Transport Workers chieftain, Shamsuddin Oladiti, popularly known as Shamelon. Now, the order followed charges brought against him by the Lagos State Police Command at the Ebute Magistrate Court. In a brief ruling, the Chief Magistrate directed that Oladiti be remanded at the Ikoyi Correctional Facility and adjourned the case until October the 28th.
An unusual crowd at the premises of the Magistrate Court in Ebute, Lagos, is an indication that a case of public interest is coming up. It is the case of a 55-year-old suspect, Shamsuddin Oladiti, popularly called Shamelon, a chieftain of the National Union of Road Transport Workers, Lagos Island branch, alleged to have beaten one person to death and injured another over a trivial matter. The suspect is arraigned on a 3-count charge of alleged unlawful beating, conspiracy, and committing a felony. On the sidelines, some members of the victim's family, members of the NURTW, alongside other sympathizers, showed their displeasure as they demand for justice for the victims. The counsel to the accused person declines comments. Nevertheless, the police prosecutor and the team lead of the Human Rights Committee of the Nigeria Bar Association in Lagos speak on their representation.
The case is a capital offense. It's a capital offense, which we have done the arraignment. Since he cannot take plea, so the file is to be duplicated and sent to DPP for legal advice.
We represent the family of Iman Ramon, who has briefed the committee to watch their brief in this matter. Yeah, we just concluded the proceedings, and the long and short of it all is that the courts previewed the file and noted that a prima facie case has been established against defendants.
The court then orders that the suspect be remanded at the Ikoyi Correctional Facility for the first 30 days, pending advice from the Lagos State Directorate of Public Prosecutions, in line with Section 264 of the Administration of Criminal Justice, Law 2015. The case has been adjourned to October 28th.
So let's switch gears now and head to the nation's capital, where Victoria Longjohn is standing by to give us the latest from our Abuja studios. Over to you, Victoria.
Many thanks, Ayo. We have more from the courts, as the Federal High Court in Abuja has fixed October 27 for the arraignment of Mr. Omoyele Sowore. The case had suffered delays following the failure to serve the defendants with a 5-count charge bordering on alleged cybercrime. At today's proceedings, the Director of Public Prosecution from the Ministry of Justice informed the presiding judge, Justice Mohammed Umar, that Sowore, X Corporation and Meta Incorporated, owners of Facebook, will be arraigned as first, second and third respondents, respectively. However, Sowore's counsel, Marshal Abubakar, maintained that his client had not yet been served with the charges. And Nigeria's aspiration to host the next Commonwealth Games has put infrastructure development in the spotlight, but the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Mr. Nyesom Wike, is stressing that road networks are central to that goal. The minister made the remark while flagging off a new link road project in the Kaura district of Abuja. He assured residents that ongoing projects including the Airport Kuje Expressway, will help ease traffic flow and further stimulate development across the FCT. Our correspondent Benny Ark reports.
This is another flag-off of a strategic road project in the Federal Capital Territory designed to open up the Kaura district and improve infrastructure as part of Nigeria's bid to host the Commonwealth Games in 2030. The event attracted members of the House of Representatives, the Minister of State, Area Council Chairman, Permanent and Mandate Secretaries, Directors, traditional rulers and other dignitaries. The project is expected to improve access roads, support emergency response, and boost development in surrounding communities.
The roads to be developed under this project also services the FCT fire station located in Kaura district. It is essentially to open up this district for development while also addressing the need for reliable access to the fire services and ensure timely response to emergencies within Kaura district and adjoining districts.
I stand here with deep appreciation to His Excellency, the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, for his leadership and vision in infrastructure that directly improves the lives of our people. And also, together, we build not just a road, but also a pathway to a brighter future for Federal Capital Territory and Nigeria at large.
The FCT Minister, Mr. Yusuf Wike, said the road is part of the renewed hope agenda to transform Abuja into a global city and demonstrate readiness to host the Commonwealth Games.
Nigeria is bidding to host the next Commonwealth Games. And it will be difficult for us to achieve that if we don't have good network of roads. That when the committee comes and they see that the basic infrastructure is being provided, that gives us leeway to be given the hosting right of the Commonwealth Games.
The minister, along with other dignitaries, then performed the flag-off, reiterating the government's commitment to make Abuja a model city by the end of the president's first tenure. Benny Ark, Channels Television News.
Key discussions on tackling insecurity, harnessing comparative advantages, providing incentives and fostering deliberate partnerships with the private sector dominated the second day of the Northern Nigeria Investment and Industrialization Summit. Now, during the plenary session in Abuja, former Senate President Dr. Bukola Saraki and the former Speaker of the House of Representatives, Yakubu Dogara, underscored the importance of these strategies in driving sustainable growth and development in the region. Our correspondent, Sarah Achimugu, reports.
At the end of the day, we will have
Once more, key players in the 19 northern states, investors and captains of industry gather to continue conversations on how to accelerate socio-economic development in northern Nigeria.
Integration, which is why we're gathered here today.
The second day begins with a plenary session.
I think the mistake we probably want to
Speakers spear their minds on building a consensus through leveraging on competitive and comparative advantages.
The point is that there has to be collaboration between public sector, led by our governors, and even our governors need to work as a region, not Zamfara going in one direction, Gombe going in the other direction. We should see what are comparative advantages and come as a team.
We need to do something that is radical and transformative in the north. Maintaining the status quo means that these vast potentials that we've spoken about will continue to be underutilized.
The conversation then moves to how the region can adopt latest technologies to improve its economy.
We are now in the fourth industrial revolution, where artificial intelligence, big data, and advanced connectivity are merging the physical and digital worlds. So under these circumstances, technology is not just a support tool. It is the driver of competitiveness, period. It decides who is a leader and which will follow.
Then there were goodwill messages from home and abroad, with many focusing on the potentials in the region.
We believe in the strength and power of this nation, and if Northern Nigeria works, this nation works. It means that you do not continue to export us permanently. We go and we come back, as was intended.
A charter on ease of doing business within the region is then signed.
For investment promotion.
The charter is expected to improve investment in the region in the days ahead. Sarah Chimugu, Channels Television News.
Some company news now. Global delivery platform Glovo has launched its Partner Academy in Abuja. The initiative is designed to empower small and medium-sized enterprises by equipping them with the tools and knowledge to scale their businesses through technology.
Officials of a leading technology platform, Glovo, gather for the launch of the Abuja leg of the flagship Glovo Academy program in Nigeria to support entrepreneurs and small businesses. They are joined by their partners, who are majorly vendors who use the platform for commercial activities. The event featured the release of Glovo Partners Academy report, revealing that over 1,000 partners in Abuja have generated about 11 billion naira in value through the platform.
We have 60,000 riders that rely on us for their sustenance across Africa. Now, these numbers are good numbers. The question is, how does it impact you as our partner? We've generated more than 1 billion euros for all of our partners, and I think a lot of partners here today can testify to that.
So in terms of value, the first thing is we've delivered, all of this has translated to about 11 billion naira in revenue for our partners. And we've had 1,000 partners having worked with Glovo in Abuja, 2,000 riders. The last bit, similar to what I said earlier, is we're growing very, very, very fast.
Glovo officials showcased key tools, including the Goldroid app, which enables partners to open and manage stores on the platform, and the Managers Portal, which helps businesses track orders, analyze performance, and boost visibility.
If you open at exactly 9 a.m. and close by 9 p.m., surely your uptime for that day will be 100%. But if you don't open by 9 a.m. and your schedule says 9 a.m., then it can't be 100%. And benefits why your uptime should be good. It increases your chance of receiving more orders because customers see you open.
One partner shared how the platform had boosted his business, improving visibility, customer reach, and service delivery.
Try to identify what is that your strength that sets you apart, and from that, and also customer reviews.
Glovo says the Partner Academy is part of its broader commitment to support entrepreneurs and expand income opportunities across Nigeria, which officials consider significant to the nation's economic growth.
There's a lot of information out there. Bank of Industry has many programs on TV, adverts, and all of that, where there's awareness. So I think the larger problem might be that the SMEs, the MSMEs, need to meet the criteria. And I don't think it's impossible.
Glovo says it is deepening its role as a strategic partner for small businesses in Nigeria.
Now, still ahead on the news at 10, Nigeria's payment revenues are projected to reach $4.7 billion by 2029. That's in business news. Who joins again?
Welcome back. The Ogoni Cleanup and Restoration Project, spearheaded by the Hydrocarbon Pollution Remediation Project, HYPREP, continues to attract international attention, with more civil society groups visiting Ogoni land to assess the ongoing remediation efforts. The latest visitors include a delegation from South Africa, who spent the day engaging with HYPREP officials and touring project sites. Our correspondent, Deborah Agbalama, reports.
The visit of the South African civil society group, facilitated by We the People, non-governmental organization, is one of many to the project sites of the Hydrocarbon Pollution Remediation Project, HYPREP. Following the ongoing remediation, different civil society groups have continued to come to see for themselves the works on ground. On this day, The establishment is hosting a South African civil society group to the hype various ongoing remediation and restoration sites. Their kickoff point on arrival in Ogoni is for water station in Tai, and then remediation lots in Biara, mangrove restoration site in Bomugu, Kana. They also touched base with the Center of Excellence for Environmental Restoration in Wiakarakana local government area. Here, the HYPREP officials took time to explain the scope of work and progress so far.
The project had set up a technical planning committee that has long submitted its reports. And one of the recommendations of the report, while we await government to give directives for further actions, is that HYPREP establishes a directorate of the Center of Excellence to actually have the project, the center, start running.
At the end of the field visit, the groups gave their impression.
And my impression, my feeling after going through about 3 different project sites of HYPREP is that of excitement. Excitement because HYPREP started slow, started slow and was embroiled in a lot of controversies a couple of years ago. But HYPREP has clearly and evidently picked up, right? And we're actually seeing restoration. I have at least on my own seen that lands have been restored and periwinkles and crabs are returning to places I had visited a couple of years ago and were all dead mangroves. So that alone excites me.
There's a center has been built through the resistance of communities. It means that it's a protection for communities, that wherever what they argue, there is something that will back up their own argument. That is why I'm happy to be here, and I've learned a lot. I go back also to argue to Shell that what they've done here, it cannot repeat it also in South Africa. That is why for us it's a learning. This learning, it helps us that these corporates, they must do better.
With all this on ground, HYPREP reiterates that its doors are always open to anyone who wishes to see the progress so far, maintaining that it has nothing to hide and is on the right path to restoring Ogoni land and the livelihoods of its people. Deborah Abalama, Channels Television News.
Stanbic IBTC Insurance has unveiled the Manifold Endowment Plan, a customer-friendly innovation designed to cover you and your loved ones with its all-in-one protection and savings features. Now, this insurance plan offers a life and disability coverage of up to 1 billion naira, a personal accidental medical expenses cover up to 50,000 naira per year, 25% partial withdrawals during the policy term, maturity benefits of 100% plus an additional 2% bonus just with a payment of as low as 10,000 naira per month and policy duration of 6 to 15 years.
As an institution who cares about securing the future of its customers, Stanbic IBTC Insurance, a subsidiary of Stanbic IBTC Holdings, has launched the Manifold Endowment Plan in Lagos.
Insurance has created a smarter way.
The Manifold Endowment Plan is an innovative blend of insurance and investment designed for Nigerians, providing them with flexible policy durations.
Maturity benefit is there for the policyholder if he survives. We also pay total permanent accidental benefit to the policyholder, and we also pay medical expense cover to the policyholder in the event the expenses resulting from an accident. So it covers everything. And that is why it's a unique product, and that's why it's also an endowment product. It speaks to all levels of needs.
The minimum is six years. So meaning that if you take it for 6 years, the first 2 years, you can take 25% of your sum assured. The next 2 years, you can take another 25%. And then the final year, you can take 100%. So in total, based on the sum assured that you have, you are entitled to 150%. Apart from that 150%, there's also the reversionary bonus that we talked about that you can get on a yearly basis.
As for regulators in the insurance sector, they see the new product as redefining what insurance can and should mean in today's world.
A product like this will go a long way to encourage people, particularly young people who want to start small and you grow along with the policy. The expectation is that it will blow in the market and the market will grow.
we expect that this will continue to speak to the need for insurance. Insurance is all about financial stability, and I think this addresses it a great deal. So I expect this product to be able to attend to that, and I expect them to continue to push this, even across the entire insuring public.
The Manifold Endowment Plan aligns with Stanbic IBTC Insurance's broader mission to help Nigerians secure today and prosper tomorrow. Manifold offers a tailored and transparent financial solution.
Willibong is right here to take us through the latest happenings in the world of business.
Thank you, Ayo. Now, Nigeria's payment industry is set for strong growth, with revenues forecast to rise from $1.3 billion in 2024 to $4.7 billion by 2029. And this is according to the Boston Consulting Group's BCG 23rd Global Payments Report. Now, BCG projects transaction revenues in Nigeria will expand at a compound annual growth rate of 23%, while non-transaction revenues, including account services and ancillary fees, will grow even faster at 26%. The report also notes that real-time account-to-account systems already account for about a quarter of global digital retail payments and are expected to surpass 50% in regions such as Africa by 2030, with Nigeria's NIPS instant payment platform central to the shift. Now, still in the financial space, the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, says non-treasury single accounts, non-TSA public sector accounts remain safe and accessible despite the 75% cash reserve requirements CRR applied to them. Now, in a statement, the Apex Bank explains that the policy is aimed at strengthening monetary stability and ensuring effective liquidity management in the banking system. It adds that deposit money banks still retain access to the balance of the funds, allowing for continued operations by public sector entities. Now, CBN further reassured stakeholders that the measure would not disrupt public sector transactions or service delivery, noting that it aligns with broader efforts to curb inflationary pressures and stabilize the naira. On the Pension Transitional Arrangement Directorate, PTAD, has commenced the implementation of the approved pension increments of 32,000 naira on the payroll of pensioners. And this follows the partial release of 20.18 billion naira out of the 45 billion naira earlier approved by the federal government for the settlement of pension arrears. According to PTAD, the increment will reflect in the payroll for eligible retirees under the defined benefit scheme, in line with government's commitment to improving the welfare of senior citizens who dedicated their years of service to the nation. And with that, we're checking with the domestic equities market, which closed the final trading day in September bullish as it maintains Monday's positive momentum. Ladi Williams tells us more.
Welcome to the market wrap. Trading activities today closed the books not just for the month of September, but also for the third quarter of 2025. And we have the last trading day at 0.23%. That's the gain for the all-share index, still continuing in positive territory, 142,710 points to the good. And we see the market cap still holding on to 90 trillion. Let's look at the tier one banks now. That's the fugas there. We see it's mostly red there with the tier one banks. Threshold Kodo, that's up 1.61% to close today. Then we have UBA with a big drop, 2.70%. And GTCO, AxisCo, and Zenith all in the red. Lone gainer, FBN Holdco. Let's get a check on the market mover now. Aradel, an integrated energy company, opened at about 560 naira, gained 55 naira to close at 615 naira per share. Well, as September, the third quarter, comes to an end, investors now turn their focus to the final stretch of this year, with expectations shaped by earnings season, macroeconomic signals, and global market trends. I'll see you in October.
Thank Thank you, Ladi. I'm sure investors will be waiting to see you in October. Well, let's see the snapshot of closing numbers for other major equities after today's performance. And that's business news. It's back to Ayotine for the rest of the news at 10.
Many thanks, Will. Former DR Congo President Joseph Kabila has been sentenced to death in absentia for war crimes and treason. The charges concern accusations that Mr. Kabila has been supporting the M23, a rebel group who have wreaked devastation across the country's eastern region. Here's Sami Pusi with more international news and around the world in 5 from our London studio.
Good evening and welcome to the Channel studios here in London. International news around the world in 5. US President Donald Trump says his Gaza peace plan is an amazing thing as he sets a 3 to 4 day deadline for Hamas to respond. The plan includes an end to fighting, the return of the hostages, and the creation of an international board of peace to help run Gaza. Qatar's foreign ministry says Hamas is studying the White House proposal responsibly, but it could take days for them to respond. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu insists the plan does not mean Palestinian statehood and that Israel will forcibly resist the idea.
So this is a big day, a beautiful day, potentially one of the great days ever in civilization. It's called peace in the Middle East. So today is a historic day for peace, and Prime Minister Netanyahu and I have just concluded an important meeting on many vital issues, including Iran, trade, the expansion of the Abraham Accords, and most importantly, we discussed how to end the war in Gaza, but it's just a part of the bigger picture, which is peace in the Middle East, and let's call it eternal peace in the Middle East.
I believe that today, we're taking a critical step towards both ending the war in Gaza and setting the stage for dramatically advancing peace in the Middle East. And I think beyond the Middle East, in very important Muslim countries. I support your plan to end the war in Gaza, which achieves our war aims. It will bring back to Israel all our hostages, dismantle Hamas's military capabilities, end its political rule, and ensure that Gaza never again poses a threat to Israel.
An entire family, a married couple and their 2 young sons, have been killed in an overnight Russian drone attack in Ukraine's northeast Sumy region. A residential building was hit in the village of Chechnya. The bodies of the 2 children, aged 4 and 6, and their parents were later recovered from the wreckage. Ukraine's Air Force said its units shot down 46 out of 65 Russian drones across the country, but there were 19 direct hits in 6 locations. Afghanistan's main airport is at a standstill as the country grapples with the fallout of a nationwide internet shutdown imposed by the Taliban government. The Taliban has yet to give an official reason for the decision, which took effect on Monday, but did say it would last until further notice. Mobile internet and satellite TV has also been severely disrupted across Afghanistan. Since seizing power in 2021, the Taliban have imposed numerous restrictions in accordance with their interpretation of Islamic Sharia law. Rescuers are racing to pull dozens of students and workers from under the rubble of a school building that collapsed in East Java in Indonesia. At least 3 people have been killed and 99 others hospitalized, some of them with critical injuries. At least 38 others, many of them teenage boys, remain trapped under the Islamic boarding school. They had gathered for prayers when the building gave way on Monday. The Disaster Mitigation Agency said the 2-story building had an unstable foundation and could not support the weight of the construction of 2 more floors. Madagascar's president has said he will dissolve his government following days of youth-led protests over long-standing water and power cuts. We acknowledge and apologise if members of the government have not carried out the tasks assigned to them, the President said in a televised nationwide address on Monday. The so-called Gen Z protests have seen thousands of predominantly young demonstrators take to the streets in the cities across Madagascar since Thursday, under the rallying cry, "We want to live, not survive." A Chinese national has been convicted following an international fraud investigation which resulted in what's believed to be the single largest cryptocurrency seizure in the world. The Metropolitan Police says it recovered 61,000 Bitcoin, worth more than £5 billion in current prices. Jimim Qian, also known as Yadi Jiang, pleaded guilty on Monday at Southwark Crown Court of illegally acquiring and possessing the cryptocurrency. And drone footage has captured a group of polar bears living in an abandoned research station on Russia's Kolychyn Island. A travel blogger shared the video that shows several bears inside the scattered buildings, looking through windows and walking around the island. A bear could be seen trying to catch the blogger's drone as it approached. The Kolychyn weather station was abandoned in the early 90s after the collapse of the Soviet Union.
And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel studios in Lagos.
Thank you, Simon. Welcome to Sports News. Top boxers are set for the biggest boxing event in Africa since the Rumble in the Jungle, with chaos in the ring holding tomorrow night at the Mobolaji Johnson Arena in Lagos. The headline bout for the Independence Day event will feature a cruiserweight showdown between American stars Braden Glatton and Marcus Brown. Also on the stacked card is the fight between former Commonwealth lightweight champion Dan Aziz versus Sulaiman Adeosun, among other interesting bouts.
We're not going to stop. It's only going to get better. I can tell you, I said to you, I'm a man of my word. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do. This is the smallest you're going to see chaos in the ring. And December 19th is only going to get bigger and better and better and better. We won't stop until we start having world champions come to Nigeria and come to Africa. This is not a Nigerian thing. This is an African thing. And right now, with this event, we just put Africa on the map proper. And we can't wait for Wednesday to come, and then you see the proper show. And then I believe that will cement our place globally.
And in the UEFA Champions League, Ademola Lookman made his first start of the season for Atalanta as the Italians came from behind to beat Club Brugge 2-1, while Kylian Mbappe scored a hat-trick as Real Madrid thrashed Kairat Almaty 5-0 in Kazakhstan. Elsewhere, Spanish giant Atletico thrashed Germany Eintracht Frankfurt 5-1. Tottenham avoided a big upset as they fought back from 2 goals down to secure, or to rather rescue, a draw at Norwegian Minnows Bodo Glimt. Jose Mourinho's latest return to Stamford Bridge ended in frustration as Chelsea secured a narrow victory over his new club, Benfica. Victor Osimhen's goal from the penalty spot in the 16th minute handed Galatasaray a 1-0 win over Premier League champions Liverpool. In other matches, Serie A giant Inter Milan defeated Slavia Prague 3-0. French side Marseille also beat Ajax 4-0, while Bavarian giant Bayern Munich traveled to Cyprus to beat Paphos FC 5-1. And one of the world's most famous stadiums is set for demolition after Milan City Hall early today approved the sale of San Siro to the city's 2 football giants. Inter and AC Milan had both threatened to abandon the city had the sale not been approved after having looked at sites in nearby suburbs. More than 11 hours of debate at City Hall ended with 24 votes in favor of the sale for €197 million and 20 against. That Sports is back to you, Ayo.
Thank you, Chris. And the main news again. President Bola Tinubu today reassured Nigerians of brighter days as he launched a book on progressive governance in Imo State. The president commissioned some projects executed by the Imo State government. President Tinubu also debunked reports of a religious genocide in the country. And US President Donald Trump has hailed the Gaza peace plan as amazing as he gave Hamas 3 to 4 days to respond. That's the news at 10 tonight. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Ayo Tunde. Have a good night.